house. They allow me to use their house, and thank God. We actually holding now at the ninth activity, which has to do with the field work, because the 39 activities of Shabbat are divided into a few major parts: field work, making material curtains, making leather curtains, hunting, etc. We're now holding at the ninth. It's called Kneading. Kneading is like lush. The description of the work of the activity Kneading is not only kneading with flour and water. It's taking small particles and combining and using with water and combining them together, getting them together. Therefore, kneading is not only to make challah. Kneading can be in some other things as well. Just before getting into the practical kneading, I want to remind you again.
Rabbi Carmi?
Yes.
Please forgive me. The pronunciation is kneading. The K is silent. The K is silent. The K is silent. It's kneading.
What's K? What's the K?
The spelling of the word kneading. The K is silent.
Kneading. Oh, yeah. Kneading. Okay, please, thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Yeah, good. Need to be corrected. What do you think? Who does not need to be corrected?
No, not by me.
Sure by you, by everyone. Everybody has a part that the other friend does not have. You have to be humble enough to accept corrections from friends. Who's going to correct us then? Only up in Shamayim. We're going to come to Shamayim and they're going to tell us, no, why didn't you correct? Your friends told you to be better. You will never become better. So then I'm owing you a favor. It's not the first favor, Rabbi. It's been many times, but thank you very much.
I wish I spoke as well as you speak English.
Okay, so kneading, very good. So the biblical prohibition is only when we combine particles into a thick, like dough. If we do combine particles by water and mixing them together, but it's becoming a liquidish form of material, that's a rabbinical prohibition, which we also do not do. So, therefore, if there's no, for example, you can take the particles of coffee, of instant coffee, and mix them with water, and then you have your liquids. There's nothing happening over here, even though it's mixing particles with water. But if you have this pudding, this thing that we do, is pudding the right word? Pudding, it becomes like a thicker, you mix it with water and it becomes sweet. Or if you have, how do you say, puree, potato powder, which you mix with water, that's for sure is not allowed to do on Shabbat. You can definitely pour milk into cornflakes or other wheat grains, because they're not getting together. No, they're not becoming one solid thing. So that's allowed on Shabbat. Yeah. So we're next week we're going to talk about baking, and we're done with field work. So that's very excited. Thank you again for giving me the honor and the opportunity to talk about Shabbos Kodesh. I want to remind you that tomorrow, Friday, at around 10 o'clock a.m., your time, it's going to be Shabbos in Israel already. What's the significance? You guys are living in America, so it's Friday morning. But so what if it's Shabbos in Israel already? But I think I've spoken about this idea before. I love to repeat it because it's my favorite word. I apologize to anyone who heard that before. the question is asked in the books, in the Kabbalistic books, what time does Shabbat gets in Gan Eden? In the upper world, we found there is concept of Shabbat coming in, and the Gehenom, the fire of Gehenom stops, ceasefire on Shabbat. All the unworthy Rashaim, crooked people, the wicked people that are punished in Gehenom, in hell, having ceasefire, having some pause during Shabbat. And that's the upper worlds. So the question is, when does that happen? Because we have several time zones on the planet. The answer is that in Shamayim, the Shabbat gets in according to the time of Eretz Israel, of Jerusalem, Yerushalayim time. And if that's the case, can you imagine wherever you live, in America, in Canada, in Australia, China, doesn't matter where you are, but when Shabbos comes in Israel, the whole world have a different atmosphere already. There's the Gehenom does not work anymore, and I'm sure this world is looking much, much better when the fire of hell stops firing, ceasefire. So we can definitely use the opportunity to tranquil ourselves, to calm down, 10 a.m. Friday, feel Shabbos, connect with Shabbos, and enjoy the Shabbos in the world already, because Shabbos came down at certain part of the world, especially when we talk about Israel, it's even more important, more special. Those 39 activities that we're learning not to do, as I mentioned before, the Gemara is debating where do we learn that from. One opinion points out that we learn that from the activities that was made in the desert by the tabernacle. The tabernacle was built with 39 activities to make it work, make it operate. And those activities that are used in the tabernacle we're not going to do them during Shabbat. Another opinion in the Gemara is that we looked at the Torah, the 5 Chumashim of the Torah, and there are 39 times that's written in the Torah the word melacha, work, melachto, his work, activity, 39 times. And from there we learn that on Shabbat we have 39 activities, melachos, that we're not supposed to do. The Gemara even go further and tells us that they were debating about one word, one time that the Torah used the word melacha, activity, and they says, is this a part of it or not? And they said, let's bring a Sefer Torah and start counting. And they counted, and surely enough, they had the 39 activities. The Shabbos is also a segula for humbleness, for anava. When the Torah talks about Shabbat, and it talks about how we should stop our activities just a little bit before Shabbat and throughout during the whole Shabbat, the Torah says, Shvu ish tachtav al yetze ish mimkomo b'yom HaShabbat. That was given us, Shabbos was given to us in the desert before even receiving the Torah. We received the Shabbat Kodesh, and the instruction back then was that we didn't have all the activities. We didn't have the Shabbos like it is now, or it is after the receiving of the Torah. It was another metaphor of Shabbos, but still we were not supposed to leave our domain. So the Torah said, sit still in your place. You should not leave your borders where you are located. And in Hebrew, when you say shvu ish tachtav, shvu means sit down, calm down, sit low. And our sages have learned that from that specific teaching, we can achieve lowliness, like humbleness, humility, anava, simplicity, to connect to our inner true point within our soul, within our neshama, not the person who we are out in the streets. We're playing the game. We want everybody to look at us, sell ourselves to the world in a format we think who like to sell ourselves. We represent ourselves to the world, to the outer world, in a certain manner we think is appropriate. In many cases, we're so wrong. We're so far from the truth because we have like an image of someone we think we should be, and we're trying to show the world that someone. We play many games for that, and it takes a lot of our strength, and we can be at the end of the day exhausted from thinking so hard how to sell myself, how to advertise myself as the person I would like people to think I am. So it happens, we all of us I think do that. Maybe not all of us, maybe some don't. But during Shabbos we can connect to the true person we really are. And that is being done by humbleness, by not thinking I'm someone that I'm not. And it's a little bit complicated to discuss this matter. I hope it was clear. And yes. So on Shabbos, there's an opportunity to be there, to come in there, to come into myself, to connect with my own self, with my neshama, with my who really I am, and to try to get to maybe know myself better, and hopefully to connect to that self that I am during the weekdays as well, and not just be real with myself and with the world as well. So we're holding again Shabbat Vayechi, Shabbat Chazak. We're finishing the book of Bereshis, of Genesis. We're going to come to Exodus, the book of Shmot, of going down to Egypt in order to elevate many sparks of holiness that fall into the midst of Mitzrayim. Even since back the sin of Adam Arishon, and first man and Eve, what they did and what went wrong back then, we are fixing it, God willing, in Mitzrayim. In this period of time, we're going to have 5 weeks of Shovavim. We're going to talk about it, God willing, next year. So I wish you good Shabbos, and enjoy the Shabbat, and cherish the Shabbat, and respect the Shabbat, and you'll be respected yourself, God willing. Next year is going to be from New York, Bezrat Hashem. And thank you again for joining, and may you be blessed, and Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
Go to.